Hey, I wanted to make this video because a lot of times I have a very difficult time with tinnitus, even though I definitely have had improvements with the ringing, the reactive tinnitus with the tapping and some relief of regular tinnitus with the stretching of the neck and all that, the cervicogenic stuff. I'm not lying about that. But so few people know what this is like. Um, before before well, I want to go into this more, but I just want to say, like, I do have a therapist, and I do talk with her about any kind of suicidal thoughts I have, and I do have resources to call if I'm feeling that way. So I don't want anybody panicking and like calling the police on me or some shit, because that would just be stressful. But I want to tell people what it's like, because um, it's really bad sometimes. And I mean, I used to be able to focus. Now, now I can't work. I can't. I can't even work at a coffee shop. I can't physically do it because of my neck, and I can't do it because I can't focus that well sometimes because of the noise. And a lot of people they get used to ringing sounds. I mean, don't get me wrong. I know people that are worse than me, and if you're looking at me and thinking I'm a goddamn wreck, and you're happy you're not me. Oh, well, I mean, I know people that are worse. They suffer unimaginable hell every day. I kind of lost my voice uh, because I've been screaming so much, and I don't really do that so often. So it's difficult for me to talk right now. But this is something that people don't know about. Uh, People don't talk about. I mean, you never even see a billboard on the street like, "Hey, protect your hearing," or anything like that. I see people every day. They go to a gun range. They don't use hearing protection. They got this noise that could be there for months, years, and it makes their life really hard. Mine's changes a lot. It changes the volume. It changes the sounds. A lot of people with neck issues and tinnitus, in correlation with it, have a whole range of crap that they hear, and I don't know why. And and it can be really bad. Whereas the acoustic trauma is typically you get the one sound or whatever you get. That's just what it is. The volume might vary a bit. Like if you drink alcohol or eat a lot of salt, it can get pretty bad. Um, for them, but generally it's the one kind of sound. So uh, you can get more used to it. Similar to how like you could have annoying crickets outside, but it's the same sound. It's not like every day you come out the crickets sound different, um, or refrigerator or something. But even then, those sounds are kind of pleasant. People choose to listen to crickets. Some people use the Calm app and listen to crickets. I don't really like them, but they're not that bad. And I I don't know what. It's just so hard just to do anything for me. Like, it's a struggle just to, even if I'm in a noisy place, like if I go out and I'm in a place where I can't really hear any ringing noises, and, even if I try to listen, I can't hear them. But I know that, when I go to bed at night, it's going to be there. And I'm not going to be able to, I'm not going to be able to drown it out unless I play something loud enough that, all right, well, that's annoying because it's really loud, whatever it is. So either way, it's difficult. And, family, they don't understand. They look at me and I look fine. I don't always look like this. And I tried to tell my old manager what I was going through. He didn't have a goddamn clue what I was talking about. He acted like everything was fine because I looked fine. My mom acted like I was fine. She still does. My dad doesn't believe I have a serious problem. I tell him I'm gonna wake up every day, and I wish I didn't. When I wake up, I think, damn it, like, it's the kind of thing where you feel so bad you just wish you could go in your sleep. And I want to reiterate, if I have any suicidal thoughts that I don't want to follow through on, I do have people I can call, but I'm saying this because I want people to understand the level of seriousness that this condition has. Some people can handle it better than others. I know people that have a little worse than me, but they've had it for so long that now it's not such a burden. But then I know people that have it worse than me, and it is, and they hate their lives, and they've had it for 20 years. And that doesn't mean, like, if you're new to tinnitus, it doesn't mean, even if it's severe, most people don't. Most people don't suffer like I do. And every day, people tell me, they say, over time it gets easier. I don't know. It's sort of like, I imagine if you were going to war and you were fighting in war, like World War I or II or whatever, you would become a better soldier, and you'd become more adept over time at dealing with the trauma. But then at the same time, you'd be dealing with battle fatigue. You'd be dealing with an accumulation of stress over time. Even if you're better at handling it, over time it wears on you and wears on you and wears on you. And it's always there, to some degree or another. And it's hard to fathom how every day I don't even know what I'm gonna be able to do, because I spend most of the day just trying to cope, putting myself in a position where at least I'm not miserable, like I'm not in a dead quiet environment, and I'm around other people, because that helps me relax. So maybe go to the beach, or go to the mall, or go to the coffee shop, or go to social events with friends. Try to make more friends. I can't do a lot of physical activities because of my neck. Anything that I do with my upper body seems to aggravate, seems to, one, undo what the chiropractor is trying to do, which is put my vertebrae back where they're supposed to be, and then for two, it makes my neck stiff and it makes my ears ring. Like I can't even shoot a basketball. I can't do hardly any chores. I can barely do my own laundry. Um, and it's been 7 months, and every day is just such a damn struggle. Just every damn day. And other than chronic pain, I can't think of anything that's That's much worse. I mean, there's like side grades that are equally as bad, maybe. You know, there's some pretty messed up stuff that can happen to your body, obviously. Um, and there's people that come back from war and they're really screwed up, brain damage and all that. I mean, they get tinnitus too. I know a guy that he was wearing the hearing protection that soldiers wear. So you're supposed to be able to talk with people, and then also it's supposed to dull louder sounds like the sound of your gun or whatever, loud stuff's going on. And there's like a lawsuit because they're not as effective as they were claimed to be. Big surprise. And I wasn't in anything military. I talk to people. A lot of military people have tinnitus. Um, and yeah, I want people to know that this is a real problem. I know a lot of people that have it. I know a lot of people that suffer from it. And anyone that doesn't suffer severely from it doesn't understand how severe it is. Even people that have, who are audiologists or people that work in therapy, people who have tinnitus, but it's not that severe, they don't understand the severe psychological damage that it does. The severe emotional trauma that you have to deal with every day. I would say that I am improving slowly, but I would also say honestly that to live this way is worse than death. And I think we as people can do something about this, but hardly anyone knows it's a problem. There's like support groups, obviously you can go online and go on Facebook and Reddit and all these places, and there's support groups for people that have it severely. But outside of that, like if you talk to anybody and say like they might be aware of it, they might have it, but they're not aware that it can be this severe, and they don't care, and they don't want to put any time or resources towards it. And that doesn't mean people are cold and stupid. If we cared severely about every affliction and major illness that affected people, we wouldn't be able to function as a society. Because, like, if you go to an assisted living center, you're going to see people that are trapped in their own bodies, and their minds are fine. Not the majority, but this is something that happens, and they're in there, and they can't do anything. And if someone decides not to take care of them, and maybe their teeth fall out, well, oh well. And that's their daily life. And they might just die because someone forgets to check on them. So, Christ, I don't even remember why I brought that up. It's just so horrible to think about. But it's pretty traumatic dealing with this stuff, and unless you're going through it, it's hard to understand. I guess I've had other people say to me, and I agree with this, is that it feels like we are prisoners. Like, we are prisoners to this illness, or whatever you want to call it, condition. I mean, it's tinnitus is almost always a symptom of an underlying cause. It's not the illness itself, but whatever, it's a major deal. and people say it's like being a prisoner. And I've had my freedom taken away before. I was inpatient twice for completely other stuff. Uh, I was abused, and also my brother passed away. And at the same time that my brother had passed away, like the abuse thing was earlier on, and then my brother passed away, and then at the same time I was having heart problems, and the doctor had told me, cardiologist, of course, doctors being all-knowing geniuses like they are, and they're not lazy or or anything like that. They're really great people all the time. Oh, they spent 5 minutes with me and they said you're just gonna have to live with this condition the rest of your life. It's just chest pains, like every 5-10 minutes. It's not so bad, but it was enough so where I couldn't sleep. So it was like I couldn't function anymore. I was done. Like I was no way gonna do anything for the rest of my life because I couldn't physically do anything because I couldn't sleep. So they're just like, yeah, you just have to live with it. Didn't even try to help me. And anyway, they did an ultrasound of my heart, and they did the ultrasound before this, and then the guy talked to me and said, you just gotta live it. But the valves were open in the wrong orders. It's sort of like a traffic jam. Pressure buildup was causing the pain. It wasn't terrible, but it was enough to be annoying. So I just stopped eating just about anything, just to see if it was what I was eating, and it went away in a couple of days. I just ate like a few vegetables and some meat, and like that's it for 3 days, and it just went away. Yeah, fortunately, tinnitus hasn't been like that. Although fasting, I've heard, can help, and it has helped me some. I try to do intermittent fasting, but yeah. So this is. I mean, people try to talk to me about God, uh, and I'm not religious. First of all, second of all, if there is a God, I mean, he's got a hell of a sense of humor. So, and I think it's okay to question the existence of God and all that. I mean, priests do it. If a priest most priests I have talked with have questioned the existence of God because, they see horrible things and they're like, what's going on? So I don't mean any offense to anybody. It's just, I think it should be okay to say this. Yeah, so I want people to be aware just because it's a kind of traumatic life and a hellish lifestyle that is unimaginable to people that haven't gone through it. But I would say if you have had your freedom taken away, where you are a prisoner, and that feeling that you get is like the feeling is a similar kind of feeling. You feel trapped, and you kind of feel like a slave to it. And I know people will say, "Hey, it gets better." Well, people have been saying that to me for 7 months, and it hasn't got better. Hardly. I've improved some. I have some improvement in my symptoms, but it's to say that like other people will say, "Well, I improved, so therefore you will." It's kind of weird because, yeah, I'm not you. Like the reason, the underlying, there's like 20 different reasons why you could have tinnitus to begin with. So, like I know a woman that had a tree fall on her head, put her in a coma, and it severed the nerve to her ear, and she hears all kinds of noises in that ear, and she's complete hearing loss, and it messed up a bunch of stuff in her neck, and so it's kind of like her recovery might be short. It could be 20 years until she gets to the point where it doesn't bother her so much. I mean, just depends on the person. Just to be like, I got through it, so you will too. It's like, it doesn't really help. And people that say, oh, like, oh, people are the worst when they say, oh, yeah, I've had it for, 50 years, my whole life. And look at me. I'm like, yeah, imagine what you would have accomplished if you didn't have that handicap, you know? Um, Obviously, you don't want to walk around all day thinking like that. But, yeah, so I think you get the idea of what I'm trying to say. It's pretty messed up. It's pretty hellish. I have a hard time imagining stuff that's worse. I can think of stuff that's equally bad, but I mean, I just want to say this because people, even myself included, before I got this, I had tinnitus minorly for a little bit, and it went away, and I never thought it could be so disabling. Um, like I never thought that it would be so hard to have joy, to like watch a TV show and enjoy it. Like it doesn't happen for me really. Um, to be able to read something and relax and get into a story, it's very difficult. To be able to just simply have a train of thought that's uninterrupted, it doesn't happen so much. To be able to spend time with friends is difficult because they don't want to hang around someone that's depressed. And so for you to stay positive takes a huge effort. And I'm not blaming them for that. So this is something that a lot of people suffer from very badly, but no one talks about. And I don't understand why. Sort of, I guess. I guess the times I've talked about it, oh, jeez. Times I've talked about it with people, they just look at me like I just said something in a foreign language that they don't get it. Um, I guess people could understand being a prisoner. Uh, I don't know what it's like to be raped. I imagine being raped every day. I don't know. I think that might be preferable to this. Not to say that rape isn't terrible, It depends what the circumstances are. Depends how violent it is. I mean, it could be much worse, I suppose, depending on what the person is doing to you. Um, but you get the idea. Like it's on that level of like, holy shit, this is really fucking bad. Like you gotta think like, it's hard to think about what's something worse, and but we don't. I think a lot of people look at me too, and they literally tell me, they say it's strange because I look fine. Like I don't always look sad like this. I'll just look like maybe tired or whatever. And if you see me in other videos, I don't always look like this or sound like this, but and they'll just say, "Well, you look fine," and that might be why. Like, if everyone with tinnitus had like their left arm fall off, I bet a lot of people would know about tinnitus. If everyone had it severely and their left arm was just gone, then we'd be like, okay, this needs to be addressed. But there's no outward thing that happens. I seen women, not women specifically, but I saw someone last night on Facebook, and they were just like, they're really bad. They were talking about they wish that you could be euthanized, like go to some place and just have like an end of life clinic and just be like, I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore. Because you can attempt to commit suicide on your own, and then you could make your, I know people that have jumped off bridges and then they're worse off, broke their spine, and now they got all these health problems on top of still feeling the way that they felt when they wanted to jump off the bridge. So anyway, you get this woman, and she's feeling terrible, and you look at her, and she's beautiful, and she's got what looks to be a wonderful life. I mean, everyone's life on Facebook looks better than it is, but I mean, she looks fine. She looks just fine. And she wants to die. And this is the kind of thing that's affected more than just a couple people. I've met so many people that are suffering so bad. A decent amount of people are suffering worse. Not everyone's suffering quite as bad as me, but definitely there are people suffering worse, for sure. Uh, so I just want to raise awareness about how terrible this can be. This isn't a suicide note, and I don't need anyone doing anything crazy because they think I'm going to do something. I just want people to know how it feels. I want people to understand the kind of trauma that this, um, you know, that the people go through. And I mean, my grandmother's 89. She never heard of it. My mom never heard of it. So many people, if they have heard of it, it's just a minor thing. It's not a big deal. Like every ENT out there will just be like, "Yeah, just deal with it. It's no big deal. Just gotta deal with it." And that's it. Like nobody's trying to cure this thing, practically. Like there's very little funds going towards it. I know I guess the most funds that are going towards are like on the military side of things. But even then, I mean, how much do they really try to help? Current and ex-soldiers, ex-military. Uh, they don't. It's not like not as well as they should be. It's kind of a joke. So like this is something that needs to be done. Obviously, there's other things. Stage 4 cancer is pretty bad. Any kind of cancer, uh, you know, major birth defect issues. I mean, hell, we're eating plastics that are screwing up our reproductive systems, all of us, and screwing up our kids. And it's not some conspiracy theory bullshit. I mean, it's recently discovered. Um, and there's a lot of problems that need to be dealt with for health, but I just I just don't know anyone that's working on this or talking about this, or there's not much research that's being done, and there's not much funding for it, and for a kind of illness that's like worse than dying, um, for a lot of people. Um, I mean, if it wasn't for my family, I'd be homeless. I'd be the guy standing on the street with a street sign, And I was a guy that led a team, uh, not in title, but I tried my best to set an example, and I think I did for my team in cybersecurity. Fairly intelligent, I'd like to think, but I did work that was the kind of work that no one else would have done. I fixed things no one else would have fixed, um, and I can do things. Like I'm saying, I'm a person in our society that could otherwise be quite functional, and I did everything. I did school. Did all my. I'm the guy that did all his homework. I mean, people cheated off me in class. 8 years college, uh, and doctors still look down at me because I don't have a PhD. But yeah, it's and I would still be homeless because in this country it's kind of like you're just a loser that can't cut it. So and the healthcare, God, I'm in Florida and they don't want to expand Medicaid. I mean, a lot of people are working on it, trying to get it through, but there's the whole like Republican thing, and they're like, yeah, we want our people to die horribly because reasons. And I don't say I'm like, oh God, Republicans are the devil. Like I have friends that are Republican, and we get along great, and they want healthcare too, and everyone's just kind of like, what's maybe they disagree on like how we get it, but like everyone wants it. Like the regular people, like you, me, everybody, Republican, Democrat, we all want it. But the actual leadership in the Republican Party in Florida is kind of like, no, like we don't want to do that. Like it's too expensive. It won't work. It's like meanwhile, like 75% of the states in the United States have it works great. It's fine. It saves money. It works, and in a lot of Republican states too. It's not like, oh, like this is Democrat versus like Republican states expanded Medicaid, and it's fine. And so this shouldn't be like a partisan thing. I don't know why it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be like, oh, like those Republicans, like uh, like a lot of Republicans are fine with expanded Medicaid, but not here, not in Florida, because we're special, I guess. Um, so like, but yeah, I'd be homeless if it wasn't for family, the generosity of other people, and so that's another thing. Like this kind of like you can get tinnitus and end up homeless because I don't know, you hurt your neck like I did. I don't even know what. I just was lifting furniture, you know. Um, and yeah, so I think I probably, if anyone's staying this long, you're probably pretty bored. Hopefully, I didn't make you too depressed, but I I mean nobody, you know, if there are other people making videos like this, probably nobody wants to watch them because they're so goddamn depressing. Nobody wants to talk about this because it's so damn depressing. It's not even something you can just visually look at and be like, got it, it sucks. Like I'm seeing somebody with like shaking, or I'm seeing somebody where like they can't talk, or they're like falling over because they got vertigo, or just like what. There's no, like I just look like a normal person. I function like a normal person. I'm just goddamn depressed, and people are just like, yes, I'm depressed too. So what? So, but it's something that I think could be addressed. I mean, if we cared enough about it. I mean, we'll spend $2 trillion on a war overseas, but uh, and we got a lot of young adults coming up that are very intelligent, and this could be solved. And the United States could solve it. You could solve it. Whoever's listening to this, uh, and people just don't because they want to binge watch Netflix, I guess. Uh, The Witcher's a good TV series. What are you gonna do? But like we could do it, and I mean, this kind of even if I got over this completely, tomorrow it was gone. Uh, just knowing that I could get in like a car crash or something and I could get it again is enough to still make me think like, is life worth living? Because that kind of thing could happen. Like your life in a split second could be so bad, and I had no idea it could be so bad just because of some auditory, some hearing issues, some sounds in my ears. I never knew, and and I don't want to hurt anymore. And I think I would have to spend, and I may. I learned so much about tinnitus, and I know more than any doctor, any medical professional that I've ever encountered. I know more than that. And I've only been, just to give you an idea, like how much people give a shit about this. I don't know much. I've had to live with it 24 hours a day for 7 months. But as anyone who's worked in any profession knows, you can work in a profession for 10 years and just kind of get an understanding of everything. And this has been like sort of my profession for like the last 7 months, just dealing with this, and I know more than anybody that I've ever encountered, um, aside from other people with severe tinnitus, because they learn a lot about it too, and maybe maybe I could do something to help people with this terrible illness. I suppose awareness is something I'd like to do. I don't know if a long video with me talking about how life sucks really bad is the best way to go about it, but um, I mean, nobody wants to listen to me. Nobody wants to think about this kind of thing and how serious it is. And maybe they do, but there aren't videos like this out there, so here it is. Maybe this will help. We exist, and there's a nice home I'm staying in. I'm not working, and I'm taken care of, and I still I hate my life every day. And there are other people like me, many of us, and nobody's really doing anything for us, and nobody cares. Some people commit suicide. I don't have plans to, and nobody cares about them. And that doesn't necessarily mean, again, like, if people die, if you don't care, that doesn't make you a terrible person, because, I mean, so many people die all the time. I read the newspaper, one of the very few, and there's obituaries, and I mean, there's people, they were alive last week, and they're not alive today, and they were good, decent people who were happy, and they're just dead, and I think it's okay to not care, to move on, to not, to not be paralyzed by the depression of other people dying, like, because we're all gonna do it. There's billions of people on the planet. There's gonna be so much death all the time. Like, I don't think you're a bad person if you're just like, I can't care about you. But I want people to care about the quality of life, especially if this is a neurological issue. And I think in this century is when a lot of neurological issues will start to be addressed. I mean, people have already been working, especially like paralysis and CTE and stuff like that. Like, people have been working on that for decades already. But I want people to work on this too. I don't want people to have to suffer like I have. I mean, it's so bad that I don't think I'm gonna have kids. Just in the off, like, say I get through this, maybe it never gets all the way better. Maybe it goes away, or it's bad enough, or not bad enough, so I don't care anymore. I still don't think I'll have kids, because in the off chance that this is anything related to genetics, and I don't want I don't think I could forgive myself if I had a kid and he got tinnitus. I don't think I could. So I don't think I'm gonna have kids. I mean, I can adopt. I don't mind being a parent, but it's that bad. So that's something I wanted to do, being a parent. And I don't know if I'll ever be able to. I don't know. There's a lot of things I wanted to do that I kind of got to backpedal on and just say, okay, it's like people that have major trauma in their life. Whatever, you get in a car accident, you get a major illness, disease, or you get tinnitus or whatever. And suddenly you can't do what you used to be able to. And you kind of got to relearn how to live your life and set goals that you can now do that maybe they're not as lofty as goals you could do before. But it hurts because all of your memories are of the person that you used to be. And only in the last 7 months was I like this. Uh, and so I dream about the person I used to be, about the life I used to have, and every day I wake up. And I'm not that person. Not anymore. Uh, so I imagine it's like that for people. Maybe they have brain injuries and they know they used to be able to talk well or do something that was very difficult mentally, and then they can't anymore. Imagine that's why Alzheimer's is pretty rough. It's because you know that it's all going away, and it's not. I guess for Alzheimer's, it's not coming back. Um, I don't think we have a treatment for that. Um, I know we can slow the progression, but I don't know if you can like reverse it. So yeah, it's on that level of traumatic having severe tinnitus, um, and we don't talk about it, and we don't understand it, and we like to think that they are working on it, but I know they, and they are numbered very few. I talk with researchers and their colleagues and other professionals, and there's not many people who are pushing research into tinnitus. I mean, there's probably more professional comedians in the entirety of the United States than there are people who are professionally dedicated towards uh, like pushing the boundaries of tinnitus research and finding a cure. Like, so when you say they are working on it, I mean, no, this is going to take a long ass time with the current amount of funding and effort. But maybe if we talk about this, as terrible as this, as difficult as this is, I don't like talking about, or I don't like making videos like this. Um, you know, maybe more people will work on it. Maybe I'll be capable enough to be back to my own self where I can also contribute towards helping this terrible illness. So, and if you are new to this, uh, feel free to ask any questions, and I'll answer best I can. People will tell you there is no cure. They will say nothing can be done. This is not true. All forms of tinnitus have been cured, and all forms of tinnitus have been treated. The problem is that the cure or treatment uh, is not a pill, it's not a shot, and it doesn't work for everyone. Like if you have acoustic trauma, maybe somebody meditates and figures out how to hear it, be okay with it, relax with it, have it not bother them. Like each day they're just spending a half hour or whatever, not just dead quiet room, but maybe with some music so you can hear the tinnitus. But anyways, so you're doing that kind of thing where you're trying to meditate and focus on the sound and be okay with it and be confident that it's going to improve. And some people that do that, it'll go away. Other people with acoustic trauma, it doesn't go away. And they do the same thing. So that's why I say there is, like some people have actively done things to make it go away, and it worked. And other people will have it for the exact same reason, and that treatment or cure will not work for them. And why that is, I don't know. Maybe they're not doing it right, or maybe it's the way their trauma happened in their brain that won't work for them. and people with neck issues like I have had it resolved. People with jaw issues have had it resolved. People with dental issues like having wisdom teeth have had it resolved. People with head trauma, whether that caused a neck issue or whatever, have had it resolved. People I know have had it acoustic trauma from shooting firearms without hearing protection. And I knew a guy had it for 6 years. And he said when he got away from toxic family, it went away. But it made him suicidally depressed for like 2 years initially, and it changed his life forever, or at least it changed his life permanently. Because, I mean, at the time, for an extended period of time. And so when people say that, I mean, there's not a way that someone has gotten tinnitus where it hasn't also gone away or been treated some way or another through yoga, through meditation, through cardiovascular exercise, through fixing the structural problems in your neck or jaw, or getting doing regular things to de-stress yourself, because a lot of us will spend an entire day, an entire week, an entire month and not actually like spend time with people, like socially, and would be very stressed, and we just think that's normal. We're just in a constant state of stress, and figuring out ways to be calm repeatedly each day can help. And so unfortunately I can't say, okay, you got it for this reason, do X, Y, and Z, it will go away in a month and a half. That's something that is impossible to say. But it is also not true that if you get it and it's severe and you have a certain like you got it for a certain reason, that it will not go away. I mean, my grandfather had it for several years, I think, and he was shooting a 50 caliber. And had hearing loss. My grandmother had it for 6 months. It wasn't so severe, but she had it for 6 months and went away. I know I saw a lot of people where it goes away. But if you go online, I myself have done this where the amount of posts and communication that I'm involved with online that are successful things, like, hey, this problem went away, like the reacted tinnitus for me went away. That's like 1 or 2 videos and a couple of comments, versus like 1,000 comments and questions and discussions of me trying to figure out something and trying things and not working. So like if you go online, damn near everything you see will be failure, and that it cannot work. But I have seen every form of tinnitus been resolved. Every level of severity of tinnitus had it been resolved. I just wish I could say for sure. If you're listening to this and you have a severe level of tinnitus, and that if you do whatever, like say you have TMJ, and you do get a mouth guard, I can't say like some people, yeah, they just symptoms go away. Then maybe you have TMJ and use a mouth guard, and they maybe only go away 20%. I don't know why. And I feel like doctors should know, but they don't really give a shit. I mean, even ENTs, you think, oh, ENT, medical doctor, they know goddamn everything. Well, they don't. They probably have like what, a month of training? Like they probably have a class where a portion of the class is on tinnitus. Audiologist probably has the most training, but like if they specialize in tinnitus, there are people that take multiple courses just on tinnitus. But ENTs especially, they don't know crap about it, and they're so confident. They're like, I know, like they don't know anything. They don't know jack shit. I mean, you can just go online on Facebook and join a tinnitus group and be like, hey, here's my symptoms. What do you guys think I should do? Like, here's why I think I got it. Here's what I'm experiencing. Here's, it changes when I do X, Y, and Z. What do I do? You're going to get a better response from them than any doctor on the planet that I've ever heard of. And I mean, even people like Julian Hill or other audiologists that are prominent, or, and I'm not a knock on him. I'm just saying, like, the collective knowledge of people who've been dealing with it. You know, we're talking about collective knowledge of like thousands of years of experience versus like an ENT's, 1/5 of a college course they had 10 years ago. So, you know, you can't compete with that. As much as doctors want their respect, you can't. Um, I'm all for going to a doctor, right? Because they're going to know a procedure to look in your ear and check and be like, yes, you do have a problem in your ear. No, you do not have a structural problem in your ear. That's fine. But about tinnitus, like specifically, there's a medical professionals are kind of a joke when it comes to treating it, understanding it, and they know it. Like I talk to audiologists and I talk to ENTs, and they that they're not all like, I know everything. A lot of them are like, we don't know how to fix it. We don't know what to do. But you will get the ones that there are a lot of doctors, and there's something weird about doctors, like they can't say I don't know. I'm like, you take your car to the mechanic, and they can say I don't know, but I'll find someone that knows, and they'll go call their friend who's an expert in whatever transmissions or whatever, and they'll be like, can you see him? And I'm like, why can't we do that in the medical field? You just got to be like, no, it can't be done. Like you let your job is to do no harm, and you let your pride literally put someone in a state where they want to die, and sometimes do kill themselves. That's what ENTs do, and a lot of medical professionals. So, um, if you're a doctor, kiss my ass. Okay. Not really, but if you're a doctor, you know what I'm talking about, because you work with other doctors, and a lot of times they're full of shit, and they don't want to admit it because there's this whole prestige thing with being a doctor, and I think if you really care about people, then you got to tell them you don't know. You got to be honest with them, or you know. Anyway, I've rambled on, and I'm gonna go hop in the hot tub and try and relax. Um, it helps if I go up to my neck. Hot water helps. So, hope you guys are doing better than me, and feel free to contact me with any questions or concerns. And I didn't mean any offense to anyone. We all need to work on this. We all need to understand this at least. I'm not saying we all have to be depressed about me and other people with this, but this is a problem. Like, it's a real serious problem. And it's not going to just resolve unless Elon Musk pulls a miracle out of his ass and like cyborg chip like cures it or something. I don't know how that would work, but if we could, I mean, hell, I'd take it, losing my hearing completely if I could just not have the tinnitus. I don't care, but that's not how it works. Like if you sever the nerve or whatever, it doesn't make the tinnitus go away. So yeah, I'll see you all.